Call the meeting to order. Please call the roll.
Mr. Cockrell.
Here.
Ms. Kelly.
Yes.
Mr. Denton.
Yes.
Mr. Majors.
Yes.
Mr. Allen.
Yes. Next item will be the statement by the Board Vice President, Steve Majors.
As we begin this meeting, let us pause for a 60-second moment of silence to reflect, meditate, pray, or engage in any other silent activity. Thank you.
Next item will be the Pledge of Allegiance, led by the Board Deputy Clerk, Cheryl Kelly.
Luke, pledge. I pledge
allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Turn that thing off.
I thought I did. Get phone calls and everything in the middle of that.
Next item will be formal adoption of the agenda.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. Please call the roll.
Mr. Cockrell.
Yes.
Ms. Kelly.
Yes.
Mr. Denton.
Yes.
Mr. Majors.
Yes.
Mr. Allen.
Yes. Next item number 5 will be minutes from the May 14th meeting. Discussion.
Move approval.
Second.
Motion and a second. Please call the roll.
Mr. Cockrell.
Yes.
Ms. Kelly.
Yes.
Mr. Denton.
Yes.
Mr. Majors.
Abstain.
Mr. Allen.
Yes. Next item number 6, Dr. Dunlop.
Sure. Well, this is a huge honor for me tonight. You know, every year at this time we have a lot of restructuring. We name administrators into different roles. We have movement, but this is one that is especially near and dear to my heart because we would like this evening to recognize Miss Carla Dias. Miss Dias has been in the district for 19 years. I see so many people in the audience right now smiling because she is that person that everyone just adores. You do not hear a negative thing about Miss Dias. And the reason being is that she has more integrity and leads with more grace than anyone I think I've ever worked with. And for the last year, of course, Mr. Perry has been in the role as Associate Superintendent. Now with our new restructure, would love to have the honor of naming Ms. Dias also as Associate Superintendent. So I have the two best of the best on my right and left side. And so with that, after 19 years, we have a new Associate Superintendent in Ms. Carla Dias. Your face is very red.
Ms. Dias, congratulations.
Thank you. Now you have me all shook up. Thank you, Dr. Dunlop. That was very nice. I appreciate it. So I get to give some good news as well. So tonight I'm going to be making some recommendations for the board. The first one is to talk about the recommendation to approve the hiring of an Aspen Creek assistant principal intern. And that would be Miss, I got to check all my notes, you guys. Sorry. I'm all flustered. Miss Robin Saputo. So would you like me to tell you about her first? Or
Sure,
make the
go ahead.
Okay, so Miss Saputo comes to us. She's been in several different districts throughout other states, and most recently teaching first grade at Timber Ridge. She's taught a variety of grade levels, and we are happy to add her to the Aspen Creek family.
Any discussion?
So you're making that recommendation?
Making the recommendation, yes.
All right. Move approval.
Second.
Motion and a second. Please call the roll.
Mr. Cockrell.
Yes.
Ms. Kelly.
Yes.
Mr. Denton.
Yes.
Mr. Majors.
Yes.
Mr. Allen.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. So Miss Saputo, would you like to stand? And do you have anyone special with you this evening?
Well, my children are in Nashville, so that was a little bit far for them to travel. My dearest teaching friends from
Awesome. Well, thank you. We're so happy to have you.
Congratulations. Next item, number 8, please.
Okay, the next one is to discuss, have motion and vote on to approve or disapprove the offer of employment to Miss Elizabeth Early, who to fill the intern position as assistant principal at Leisure Park. Miss Early has currently been teaching first grade at Wolf Creek. She has some experience as a principal secretary in TPS. She's led a lot of initiatives this year, including the Gathering Plays Challenge, and just been a huge asset to Ms. Strau. So I'd like to recommend her this evening for Leisure Park interim assistant principal.
Make a motion to approve?
Second?
Motion and a second. Please call the roll.
Mr. Cockrell?
Yes.
Ms. Kelly?
Yes.
Mr. Denton?
Yes.
Mr. Majors?
Yes.
Mr. Allen?
Yes.
All right, Miss Early, would you like to stand? And I know you have a special guest too.
I do. This is my son Caleb.
Well,
So I just feel so blessed. Thank you very much.
we're excited to have you. Thank you.
Next item, number 9.
Okay, the next recommendation I'd like to make is to approve or disapprove the offer of employment to Miss Jana Williams to serve as the principal at Oakcrest Elementary. Ms. Williams has spent the last year in Bixby as elementary principal, but prior to that, she had 15 years, I believe, in Broken Arrow Public Schools. She was a classroom teacher at Wolf Creek. She was also a gifted teacher, and she has served on numerous district committees, and we are excited to welcome her back home.
Move approval?
Second?
Motion and a second. Please call the roll.
Mr. Cockrell?
Yes.
Ms. Kelly?
Yes.
Mr. Denton?
Yes.
Mr. Majors?
Yes.
Mr. Allen?
Yes.
All right, Ms. Williams, would you like to stand and introduce your family?
Yes, I would. Thank you. You guys can please. 18, we just celebrated 19 years of marriage. Our son Kay, he will be a freshman next year, and our daughter JC, she will be going into 5th grade. So, and I
Welcome.
just want to say thank you very much for the opportunity to return. This is very much like coming home. So thank you.
Welcome back.
Welcome
Have
back.
you. Okay, the next recommendation I'd like to make is to approve or disapprove the offer of employment to, get out of order here, Miss Erica Vasses to serve as the Vanderbilt Elementary Principal. Many of you remember Miss Vasses. She was our Energizer Bunny. She was an assistant principal in Broken Arrow. She was a teacher at Country Lane Primary. She had relocated, her husband relocated to Tucson, and they are actually going to move back to Broken Arrow for her to come back home to Broken Arrow. She's unable to make it this evening because she's finishing up her school year there.
She heard about the raise, didn't she?
Yeah, maybe that was it.
Move approval?
Second?
Motion and a second. Please call the roll.
Mr. Cockrell?
Yes.
Ms. Kelly?
Yes.
Mr. Denton?
Yes.
Mr. Majors?
Yes.
Mr. Allen?
Yes.
Okay, our next recommendation is to approve or disapprove the offer of employment to Miss Denise Tanner to serve as the Centennial Middle School Assistant Principal. Ms. Tanner has been in Sand Springs. She has actually served as an elementary principal, a 6th grade principal, as other administrative roles, and she was really looking forward to, she wants to get back to the middle school environment. She's heard great things about Broken Arrow, and we are excited to have her join the team.
Move approval?
Second?
Motion and a second. Please call the roll.
Mr. Cockrell?
Yes.
Ms. Kelly?
Yes.
Mr. Denton?
Yes.
Mr. Majors?
Yes.
Mr. Allen?
Yes.
And Ms. Tanner, I can't see you, but I know you're here. You want to introduce your family?
My husband's Jenna, and our youngest daughter Hannah.
Awesome.
Welcome.
Yeah, happy to have you. And then finally, I'd like to make a recommendation to approve or disapprove the offer of employment to Ms. Tiffany Jones to serve as the Broken Arrow Assistant Principal Intern. As you know, Ms. Jones has worked at the high school for, I think, 6 or 7 years now. She served as the assistant basketball coach, the basketball coach. She has a heart for education, a heart for students, and we're excited to offer her the position.
Move approval?
Second?
Motion and a second. Please call the roll.
Mr. Cockrell?
Yes.
Ms. Kelly?
Yes.
Mr. Denton?
Yes.
Mr. Majors?
Yes.
Mr. Allen?
Yes.
And Ms. Jones could not be here tonight. I think she was chaperoning a student group with her church group or something, so I'll let her know. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ms. Dias. Next item, number 13, public comments, we have none. It will be up next, number 14, Mr. Tolomeo.
Good evening, President Allen, Dr. Dunlop, members of the board. I'm here to present the construction update report. So phase 1 is wrapping up. We've completed almost every project on that phase except for the Freshman Academy, which is under construction. And then we are currently planning and under design for various couple of other projects, mostly phase 2. At the Freshman Academy, we lost about a week and a half with the walkout. So here's a rendering of what the front looks like. The areas in green we completed March of 2018. All the areas in red are currently under construction, and the blue area is a part we completed last summer.
Mr. Tolomeo, you said because of the walkout, there were construction people walk out?
No, the teacher walkout, it extended the school year, so it's extended
So we're starting
by a
after
week.
school is out. Okay.
Yeah.
Just
So
making
we're,
sure.
we obviously a week behind.
I was just making sure.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No,
that's
nobody walked
They're
out.
working on it.
Again, green we occupied in March. Red is under construction right now, and we actually TTC is going to renovate the 2 areas in pink. So we have a lot of this school that we're actually touching, and we'll provide new furniture for the whole campus in August as well. Here's what it kind of looks like today. And an hour after school let out, the last day of school, all the temporary walls came down. Kids walked out, and we started renovations immediately. Teachers weren't even out of the building yet, and we were tearing stuff up. I think they were a little shocked. And I will hand it to Miss Gilbert. She did. All of her teachers were out of the building by 5 o'clock, and none of them came back, which gave us the building just as planned. And we are back on track already. So we were able, we worked some stuff out with her. She gave us 2 classrooms a little bit early because they weren't being used, and that helped us out tremendously. This is, again, that hallway opened up. That's the grand stairwell that's going to be built for additional circulation. And then this is the cafeteria looking out. We've really opened up that whole hallway and increased circulation through that. Circulation is a big thing. If we go back, all these hallways we're doing are just for circulation. If you've ever been on this campus for passing periods, they are cram-packed. We're removing all the lockers and just circulation, circulation, circulation. They are getting 11 additional classrooms too, but one of the biggest problems there was circulation. And then this is some classrooms that we already started renovating. Ceilings are out. We're already putting ceiling grid back in. Carpet's out already. We're moving, and they're working weekends to play catch up as well. And that, do you guys have any questions?
I know that there's a lot of excitement about that facility, and I know it'll be tremendous as staff members begin to use it again fully.
Yeah, they're really excited to get back in, and we haven't even started yet. I think once the walls came down and they actually saw what we were doing, I think they were ready to get out of there so we could finish up for them.
Bob, can you tell me the 2 classrooms that TTC are renovating, why is that? Why are they doing that?
We partner with TTC for a couple of different renovations. They have, they're doing another one at the high school. They've done 2 already at the high school, and they outfit it completely. It allows us to start getting our kids into, I believe it's an engineering class at the freshman level, which isn't really heard of. So they will have 1 classroom at the Freshman Academy and a total of 3 at the high school that our kids can utilize and not even leave campus.
And that's huge, because that pre-engineering classroom at the Freshman Academy was so small.
Mhm.
It was very hard to accommodate very many students at all,
Yeah.
so it's huge.
They're going back to their model of the 2 classroom setup.
Very good.
I think this is another example of Tulsa Technology and Broken Arrow Public Schools partnering. It certainly reduces costs, enables us to provide opportunities for our kids. It's very important as they move from school directly to work.
Yeah. All right, thank you.
Thank you, Bob. Next item will be the consent agenda, items 15 through 62. Any discussion?
I move the general consent agenda items 15 through 62.
Second.
A motion and a second. Please call the roll.
Mr. Cockrell?
Yes.
Ms. Kelly?
Yes.
Mr. Denton?
Yes.
Mr. Majors?
Yes.
Mr. Allen?
Yes. Next item, 63. Ms. Kearns.
Good evening. Item number 63 is the non-administrative salary schedule. I brought this to you previously. That was approved with only support positions on the index page. We would like to bring this back to you amended with certified positions put back on this salary schedule. At this time, we don't feel that we can move any direction with certified salaries, not knowing what the future may hold with potentially mandated raises. So we would like to move forward with approving this salary schedule, and should that need to be amended in the future, we will bring that back to you. So we ask that this salary schedule be approved for these certified positions at this time.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. Please call the roll.
Mr. Cockrell?
Yes.
Ms. Kelly?
Yes.
Mr. Denton?
Yes.
Mr. Majors?
Yes.
Mr. Allen?
Yes. Thank you. Next item, 64.
Number 64, I'd like to present the administrative salary schedule for the 2018-19 school year. We ask that this salary schedule be approved and that all administrators be allowed to move one step.
Move approval.
Second.
Motion and a second. Please call the roll.
Mr. Cockrell?
Yes.
Ms. Kelly?
Yes.
Mr. Denton?
Yes.
Mr. Majors?
Yes.
Mr. Allen?
Yes.
Thank you.
Next item, Operations Services, Mr. Moore.
Good evening. I have the next three items. They all deal with summer projects we have coming up. Number 65 is asking your approval of HVAC bid received for Childers Middle School. This is for 12 rooftop units. We opened bids on May 22nd. We only had one bidder, even though we had 4 bidders attend our pre-bid meeting. The one bid came in at $105,234 from Airco, and that is actually less than our anticipated budget, so we're comfortable in accepting that.
I was just going to ask, do we know why the others did not submit any bid?
I have no idea.
Okay. Make a motion to approve?
Second.
Motion and a second. Please call the roll.
Mr. Cockrell?
Yes.
Ms. Kelly?
Yes.
Mr. Denton?
Yes.
Mr. Majors?
Yes.
Mr. Allen?
Yes. Next item, 66.
This is asking your approval of HVAC bids for Country Lane Primary. Bids were open on May 22nd, just like the other ones. We did receive 2 bids. Airco was again the lowest bidder at $78,231, and that's for 4 twin systems, 5 rooftop units, and some thermostats for Country Lane Primary.
Move approval.
Second.
Motion and a second. Please call the roll.
Mr. Cockrell?
Yes.
Ms. Kelly?
Yes.
Mr. Denton?
Yes.
Mr. Majors?
Yes.
Mr. Allen?
Yes. Next item, 67.
Number 67 is asking your approval for a playground mulch replacement bid. This is to completely take out the mulch and replace it at 5 of our elementary sites. I don't believe we've ever completely replaced mulch at a site. Now, obviously, over time, it gets pounded and gets compacted, and it's not safe for the kids. So our playground inspector picked these 5 sites for us to do. And the lowest bid came from Child's Play for $124,000, and that's for them to do the work and supply the mulch. The other sites, the other 11 playgrounds, we're going to do ourselves, where we top off the mulch and then fluff it back up. And then what we plan to do is do 5 every summer until we have them all caught up.
This is the same mulch you'd put in your flower bed type stuff?
No,
Is
it's
it-
not.
Is it the
It's-
rubber kind?
No, the rubber, no, it's certified wood fiber
Okay.
for the playgrounds. It's certified for the fall surfaces.
Make a motion to approve?
Second.
Motion and a second. Please call the roll.
Mr. Cockrell?
Yes.
Ms. Kelly?
Yes.
Mr. Denton?
Yes.
Mr. Majors?
Yes.
Mr. Allen?
Yes. Thank you,
Thank you.
Mr. Moore. Next item, 68. Ms. Dice, you're busy tonight.
Well, you did get a raise.
Yeah, I hope so. I appreciate that too. Okay, this is discussion, motion, and vote on motion to approve or disapprove the statutory waiver for Stephanie Ishmael to fill a vacant media specialist at Wolf Creek Elementary for the 2018-19 school year. So she is currently an employee at the Freshman Academy and is working on her master's degree in library science, and she'll complete it by 2019 of May 2019. She was the top candidate and the best one out there, so Ms. Strau is willing to take her, and she's going to finish this as long as it's approved.
Move approval.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Please call the roll.
Mr. Cockrell?
Yes.
Ms. Kelly?
Yes.
Mr. Denton?
Yes.
Mr. Majors?
Yes.
Mr. Allen?
Before I vote, I just want to ask a question. Are there just not that many out there? Or?
Yeah, there's very few candidates, and it's a hard position now, especially with all the budget cuts. So,
Right, because they've kind of eliminated that position because of budget cuts, right?
right, and the media assistants are completely gone, so they don't have assistants to help them. So it's harder to find people. Yes.
Okay.
And if you've been to any state board meetings lately, it seems like every single district has this coming up over and over. A lot of the items that they have to approve, because they approve the waivers. So every single board meeting, you'll see districts having to apply for waivers for media.
Because we made a
Specialists.
cut in this area at one time, and we haven't fully recovered from that, have we,
Correct.
from those
Not.
cuts?
Correct.
Yes, sorry.
Thank you.
Next item, new business, we have none. Next item 70 is the discussion and vote for the revised contract that was for Dr. Dunlop.
I move to approve the completed contract for Dr. Janet Dunlop and to authorize the board president and board clerk to formally sign the document.
Second.
Motion and a second, please call the roll.
Mr. Cockrell?
Yes.
Ms. Kelly?
Yes.
Mr. Denton?
Yes.
Mr. Majors?
Yes.
Mr. Allen?
Yes. Next item would be to adjourn.
Make a motion to adjourn?
Second.
Motion and a second, please call the roll.
Mr. Cockrell?
Yes.
Ms. Kelly?
Yes.
Mr. Denton?
Yes.
Mr. Majors?
Yes.
Mr. Allen?
Yes.